Happy Devils Monday. This is The Woo Report. The Woo Report, episode 282, titled Luke Shenn, Other Teams' Trades, and Bobby Hull. I'm your host, Sam Woo, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in the bunker in an undisclosed location in New Jersey. Talking about Luke Shenn, talking about other teams' trades, and Bobby Hull. Devil's Aces says, what up, Sam? You should be resting. There is no rest when it comes to your New Jersey Devils. Ramona Rice says, let's go Devils. Peter Seifert says, max points. 68 points. Headed into the All-Star break. Second in the Metro by 4 points. And sit fourth in the league, your New Jersey Devils. And we talked about beefing up your New Jersey Devils. We talked about strategy the past couple days, what Tom Fitzgerald would do with your New Jersey Devils. And like I said, the salary cap is in play here. You want to make trades, but you don't want to. Well, let's put it this way. I just don't think it's necessary to make a blockbuster at this point. But at the same time, it's sexy to think about Timo Meier on the New Jersey Devils. And my friend Jameson, and I tried to explain this yesterday, but I was losing my voice, that Luke Shenn may be one of those players that Tom Fitzgerald adds to the roster. Salary cap hit will be $335,000 remaining, according to CapFriendly.com. Two-time Stanley Cup champion with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Would Andre Palat have anything to do with this? If it could happen, a trade with the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver, a little bit of an overhaul coming. Trading Bo Horvat to the New York Islanders. Lou Lamoriello, 9 years ago, with the New Jersey Devils, went all in on a trade. That 9th overall pick in 2013 in New Jersey. The draft, first round, 9th overall, which turned out to be Bo Horvat, sending Corey Schneider to the Devils. I kind of shake my head at that. But at the same time, Lou Lamoriello it's almost like an act of desperation at this point, trying to jumpstart his team. Remember when he kind of let Barry Trotz go last offseason? He was trusting his gut, and he's trusting his gut right now with Bo Horvat. And you know what? Should we be talking about other teams' trades? Absolutely. Because it does have an effect on your New Jersey Devils, especially when the Islanders play in the Metropolitan Division. Giving up a conditional first-round pick in the 2023 draft. Forget about the players. That first round, that's a valuable pick. Even though it's conditional, that Lou Lamoriello had to give up. And I hope Tom Fitzgerald doesn't give up a first-round pick in 2023. I've said all along that I like to keep that pipeline flowing. I like to see some financial discipline. But I also want to see the Devils kind of beef up. And I think it's the non-sexier trades that Tom Fitzgerald will be doing between now and NHL trade deadline, which will absolutely help benefit the Devils when they're on their playoff run. They're looking good right now. Jack Hughes going to the All-Star game. Nico Heischer's looked great this season. Jesper Bratt as well. Dougie Hamilton. His offense is definitely making up for his mistakes on the power play, leading to shorthanded chances. Max says maybe Meyer is a rental for another team now. We sign him in the offseason, maybe. Who knows? And Fleece Gerald, we trust. And again, I know Luke Shenn is not on everybody's radar as a Devils fan to bring to New Jersey, but I'll tell you what, just adding a veteran defenseman right now, it's not a bad idea. And you don't have to give up much to get Luke Shenn. Salary cap wise, it'd be an easy trade. Steve Engel says, what up, peeps? What up, Steve Engel? Looking on the Facebook Live as well. Happy Devil's Monday to you, Mike Rossi. Denny says, we could use Luke Shenn. I'd take that. All this team needs this year are two tough forwards. We're not going to deep in the playoffs. Don't mortgage the future. Denny, you know what? I have the same feeling. At the same time, I do think that if you bring a couple tough forwards and a couple tough D guys, some veterans, I think it will serve the team well. This is a learning process. The playoffs is a different animal. We can't expect Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt to win the Stanley Cup. But we do expect them to get in the playoffs and get as many games as they can to get that experience. Because once you get that experience, it expedites the timeline to win a Stanley Cup. Look at the New York Rangers last season, riding on a once-in-a-lifetime amazing season by Igor Shesterkin, riding on his back all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals and putting the Tampa Bay Lightning on the brink of elimination. That gave a lot of those New York Rangers, like say Lafreniere, Capocacco, all the experience. Adam Fox as well. Max says, Sam, some increased talks of Tarasenko floating around. Do you like that move or not? Again, I just don't think the top six of your New Jersey Devils is the problem. Sure, anybody can use scoring. Any team would love to have a Tarasenko or a Timo Meier. But I have to be disciplined here, folks. My heart says Timo Meier, but my brain says not yet or no. And you have to put yourself in Tom Fitzgerald's shoes right now. The Devils are not desperate to make a move like what Lou Lamoriello did today to get Bo Horvat. The Devils are not desperate. And that's their leverage right there. They don't have to make a move. Remember when Johnny Gaudreau, the sweepstakes for Johnny Gaudreau, and it's been reported that Tom Fitzgerald and Gaudreau were talking? And then suddenly Gaudreau ghosted the Devils? Even then, the Devils were not desperate to get Johnny Gaudreau. It would have been amazing at the time. But the Devils went to their plan B. The plan B was Andre Palat overpaying and making that trade for John Marino, sending Ty Smith to Pittsburgh. Now, to me, that is more impactful than signing Johnny Gaudreau to $10, $11 million contract in New Jersey that you're stuck with for 7 years. I really think that it's not the top six, folks. It's the bottom six forwards that need to be shored up. It's that third line that needs to be shored up. Moving Eric Haula to the third line, I think, would be wonderful. Because Eric Haula has spent a lot of time with Jack Hughes on the second line for the Devils. But he's going to be a versatile player down the stretch, Eric Haula. The fact that he can take face-offs and win them, but also having played with the top six and the bottom six, makes him one of those interchangeable parts. You can put him anywhere. BMW fourth line. Now that line needs to get going. That line could be a difference maker, an X factor in the playoffs. Definitely. Just like the crash line of yesteryear. How Bobby Holik, Mike Peluso, and Randy McKay. The forecheck, the heavy forecheck. The pounding that they used to give. The energy that they used to give for the Devils. It's all contagious, folks. Hockey's really a team sport. Steve Engel says the third line of Haula, Tatar, and Sharangovich. Not a bad third line. If you like Sharangovich's penalty killing skills, you like Eric Haula's face-off skills, and Tatar, when he's on a roll, he's a pretty good player. David Chimes says Sam is using reverse psychology, so we accept the trade for Meyer when it comes. I'm not trying to pull any kind of shenanigans on you, but I just don't think the Devils are desperate to make a blockbuster move. And I don't think the Devils right now have to prove anything to the fans, because they've already proven that the past 8 to 9 years of this rebuild is now starting to come into fruition. They're actually showing us something right now. But I think here on the Woo Report, I like to hear your ideas as well. Max says, I missed the grinding of Madden Pandolfo from Breland line. Well, yeah, the unsung hero line. And I think that's what we have to talk about. It's not all analytics, folks. You know me. I respect analytics, but I don't think it's the end-all, be-all. You don't need numbers to tell me what my eye test is telling me about a player. But I think the Devils right now are in great position. I think Vancouver is going to be still dealing. I think there's going to be multiple offers for Timo Meier from not only the Devils, but from other teams. But are you willing to sacrifice the pipeline, and are you willing to sacrifice players right now on the New Jersey Devils to bring back Timo Meier? It's going to take a lot. You're going to probably more than likely have to fork over a conditional first-round pick in 2023. On top of that, you're probably going to give up one of your top prospects, let's say Alexander Holtz. You're going to have to make some cap room. for Timo Meier and send other players the other way. But I think the pipeline and weaponizing the cap space is more important than getting Timo Meier right now. That's just how I feel. I like Timo Meier as a player. I think it would be great if he was in New Jersey. I'd be very happy if he was in New Jersey. But not at the expense of the pipeline and not at the expense of draft picks. And I think right now, the Devils can call the shots. And Tom Fitzgerald has proven to me and has proven to everybody here that his plan B is not bad at all if he doesn't get Timo Meier. Just like how it's not bad at all that he didn't get Johnny Gaudreau or Matthew Tkachuk. Ted reiterates my thoughts. Do not mortgage the future. Absolutely not. We suffered enough. Keep going. Finish the job, Fitzy. Finish the job. The Devils are ahead of schedule. Remember last season, I felt that 2025 is when they're going to really turn it around. 2024-25 season. I believe that they're ahead of schedule. I believe that we need to be careful. Remember when Taylor Hall, in his MVP-like season, that turned to be really the MVP season with the Hart Trophy? What happened to the Devils next year and the year after? And the year after that and the year after that? The constant rebuild. You can't take shortcuts, folks. You can't take shortcuts. And that's all I really want to say. Max says this core Devils team should be good for the next 8 years at least. When I say good, I mean cup contenders. Look, Jack Hughes is looking amazing. Nico Hischier has been surrounded with leaders on the team like Brendan Smith, Andre Palat. And I think the Devils just need to add a couple more veterans. And the expectations, and I want to manage your expectations. The goal right now is to get in the playoffs and play as many games as possible and then evaluate. I think that's what the New Jersey Devils should do. They would maintain their salary cap flexibility going into the 2023 free agency, which has got a big pool coming out next July or this upcoming July. You keep the team the way it is, add a couple of veterans, and see how far they go. You can get Timo Meier at another time. Again, the Devils are not desperate. They're on their timeline right now. Lou Lamoriello, I hate to say it, he just mortgaged the future again of the New York Islanders. That first round pick, conditional or not, I couldn't believe that was sent, the 2023 pick, to Vancouver. Vancouver won that trade. I just think that's unbelievable. Josh S. says, I saw the Sharks want a first grade A prospect 2B prospect or first roster player and prospect. Again, how much are you willing to give up for Timo Meier? And it's something to think about. Also, I want to pay our respects to Bobby Hull and his family, Brett Hull. I grew up watching Brett Hull play for the St. Louis Blues, amongst other teams, escaping in the crease against Buffalo on the game-winning goal to win the Stanley Cup when he was on the Dallas Stars. We saw Brett Hull play against the Devils when he was at Dallas. But his father, the Golden Jet, I was reading in ESPN.com, 118 mile per hour slap shot with the traditional wooden stick. Are you kidding me? Bobby Hull being one of the on the frontier of hockey, the curve of your stick. You know, way back when I played, the curve of the stick, I always liked the Sakic curve on those old Easton T-Flex. The T-Flex Joe Sakic curve. But my favorite wooden stick, and it was the cheaper one back in the day, was the Eric Lindros Bauer. Bauer Supreme. That was a good stick. Just a good old wooden stick. It was black. Just amazing stick. One-piece wood. But Bobby Hull passes away, and he played with Stan Mikita, Tony Esposito, all those Chicago Blackhawks. I'm sure Vinny Parisi has put out stuff today about it. Denny says, Wood, Boquist, Sharon Grovich, these guys may be trade bait. Tim Wood says, Sherwood, 50-30 coffee curve for life. Yes! Yes, I may actually have mine either here or somewhere, but yes. Yes. The coffee curve that was a good stick. Yes. That brings back memory. Paul Coffey. The coffee curve. The Yzerman curve was all right. I like the Sakic curve on the T-Flex. And then the Synergies came out and, But, yeah, the other day I actually held an NHL stick, and I can't believe how light these sticks have become. But, again, I'm old school. I remember Al Iafrate when he used to shoot that puck. Al McGinnis, the way that they can get the flex on the twig. Well, that's hockey, but Bobby Hull also playing for the Winnipeg Jets as well. Just reading up on him. Dave Singer said, I'm afraid he had the worst tear. Yeah, he had a scary shot, is what Ariel Fernandez says. But, yeah, I'm afraid he had a shot. Him and Al McGinnis were just lethal from the point. My goodness. I mean, Chara had a great shot. Stéphane Richer, I thought, had a pretty good shot as well. Stéphane Richer, Montreal Canadiens, and also a Stanley Cup champion with your New Jersey Devils back in '95. Stéphane Richer It's one of my first jerseys I ever gotten. Ted's like, there's a guy in The Rock who does a devil's chant. You talking about Bauman? Like, give me a Devils? Don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, you know, I love old school players. You grow up, I didn't grow up watching Bobby Hull, but watching Brett Hull. Watching Brett Hull at the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup parade. Gloria, Gloria, I want your number. Anyway. Yes, Sammy usually sits in section 22. I thought Bauman sat in section 1. Oh, Jameson sending me a text. First, Holtz and a lower level prospect for Meyer. San Jose retains 50% salary, plus gives a third. Use that third to acquire Shenn. Trade Severson in the summer for a first. That's a pretty good idea. Sounds good to me. JP says, played for us in one of the best USA versus Canada games, and the Canadians were pissed. You know, the country of Canada hasn't seen the Stanley Cup on its soil, won by one of 7 teams since the 93 Canadiens. I mean, who would ever thought that it could almost go 30 years, 30 whole years without having any Canadian-based teams win the Stanley Cup? That's 3 decades. It's crazy. And look at Jack Hughes. Born in Orlando, Florida. That's just crazy. How far hockey has come. Austin Matthews as well, being from Arizona. Hockey's come a long way. Want to thank all those tuning in, dropping the podcast at midnight. Want to thank all those tuning in, and want to read a review. Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can also subscribe, set your notification on our YouTube channel, Let's Go Devils. Find us on Twitter at Let's Go Devils Pod, and on Facebook at Let's Go Devils Podcast. So, got to read this review. We've been getting a lot of great reviews. But just the other day, last Saturday, we didn't get a good review. So, I read a lot of your reviews. A lot of them are great. But this one, not so great. From DETDW. Titled, Not Worth the Listen, gave us a 1 star on Saturday. Lack of hockey knowledge, period. Terrible takes and analysis by guys who are fans who don't understand the game as well as anything to do with player development, salary cap, or how the game is played. Frustrating and not enjoyable, even as background noise during a drive. Wow. We are not as enjoyable even as background noise during a drive. Well, DETDW, I would love for you to kind of elaborate what you're trying to tell people in the reviews. Because on this podcast, as I always said, we're three guys or three Devils fans at a bar talking Devils hockey. We've never, ever tried to pretend to be somebody we're not. We've always been three Devils fans at a bar. Now we've added some more Devils fans. Now we've got all sorts of people on YouTube Live and Facebook Live and Twitter. So that part's accurate. Guys who are fans but don't understand the game as well as anything to do with player development. Do you realize that Beer Baron, also known as the Crew, coached hockey for 10 to 15 years and started a program down in Somerset County? Do you realize that Shorts guy, being a goaltender, played at the high school and collegiate level at Sacred Heart University, and also part of USA Hockey as well? And up until this year, he retired as a hockey coach, specializing in goaltenders? Not understand the game? And also, Shorts guy and I, when we met at the rink playing inline, and that was Semi-Pro Professional Inline Hockey Association. Me, I played collegiately, club level, USA Hockey Certified Coach, USA Hockey Certified whatever, way back when. Used to teach clinics. Don't understand the game. Well, there's a big difference between don't understand the game or just having a difference of opinion. That's my opinion, of course. Salary cap? Well, it's not really hard to understand what salary cap. It's a hard cap in the NHL. We can have a difference of opinion how you spend your money against the salary cap. I'll admit I don't know too much about CBA and some of the, what you can and can't do and all that kind of stuff. Player development, how the game is played. Well, a lot of people don't like my comments sometimes about beefing it up, thinking that I'm trying to go back to the 1970s, which the game isn't played like that anymore. Not enjoyable even as background noise during a drive. That's your opinion. And that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But DETDW, send me an email at sam@primetimeradio.com. I'd like for you to elaborate because as what we do in this podcast, you're entitled to your opinion. I just want you to elaborate some more because I find it interesting, your comments. Let's see here. JP says, did you go to law school? That dude, Jalen Hurts, is about to get paid. Oh, now you guys are talking about football. This DETW lady that left the review sounds awful. How do you know if it's a lady? Anyway, It's all good. It's all good. It's what Biggie would say. It's all good. Let's see here. All right, folks. Gonna jet. Want to thank all those tuning in. Thank you for making this podcast an amazing podcast. By the way, February 25th, you know where it's going to be at. American Whiskey at 51 Edison Place in beautiful downtown Newark, New Jersey. Our $500,000 party. Again, our $500,000 party. It's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing time. And as what Shorts Guy said on Hockey on Tap before, if you don't have a ticket, you could just watch the game at the bar, and it's just equally as fun. Because hashtag we are fun. Devils versus Flyers, plus it's going to be the 2003 Cup celebration, 20-year anniversary. Does anybody know who DETDW is? Send me an email, DETDW. It's all good. It's all good. And I hope you love this podcast as background noise in your car. Anyway, that is great. And the whole time I thought it was Detroit Department of Works when I tried to figure that out. Because I guess I'm not great at cracking the code. All right, folks. Till next time, this is the Will Report. Let's go, Devils.